Welcome back to True Print for Life. I'm your host, Christina Vera.
And I'm your co-host, Maylin Sambois. And today, we're continuing the amazing conversation have. Part 2. So hopefully you heard part 1. You got to hear part 1. And you're here now for part 2 with our amazing friend, Kninah.
Yeah. Yes, welcome back. And we were just chatting on break, but we were just... which I think is a great segue back into the second episode, about just all of the pressure and expectation that we as women put on ourselves. And I think there's also an element that society has also placed on us. And so, but I also think that as women, I think we are adding a lot to our plates. Unnecessarily. But then you don't realize, and then at what point, do you have that realization, and God willing, you have a circle of friends or mentors or people that be like, that's not what it is. Like, you don't have to. And so I think over the years, we were talking about this on break. It was just like, you get to different seasons in your life and you start to redefine, or you should be. So maybe this is more of a something to think about.
Evaluate.
Yeah.
Like,
see where you're at. See where you're at.
Just read, because I think what I would have defined as success in my early 20s is very different than what I have defined success now in my 40s. And understanding that there is a difference for what I really want. What am I really willing to do to get that?
Yeah.
And then what is it that I no longer want, but I really haven't fully told myself
that part.
Because I'm still moving in ways that it's like, what are you doing? You know? And so I think as women, because we are always so much on the go and we're managing households, we're managing businesses, we're managing children and relationships, careers. How often are we pausing and say, listen, what am I even...
What am I doing?
What am I doing?
This is crazy.
And why?
And
why? Like,
and who told me that?
Who told me that? That's the part. It's so good that you brought that up, because it for me was really like a turning point. And I remember like it was yesterday, the day I turned 40. I was in Orlando having fun. My son was there. My ex-partner was there. We were having a great time. And I was calling the bank to transfer some money. And I was like, I'm making a payment so I can get this on. She was like, oh, well, you already made a payment last week. Like, you already paid it off. And I was like, I did. She was like, yeah, girl, you have a full balance available. And I was like, it's my birthday. I'm going to do stuff. She was like, you need to do stuff. So I did stuff.
Of course she'll say that.
Yes. She needs to do stuff. So I went and got my nails done. And the way, when I'm driving there, it's like, my mom used to say this thing all the time. And it was a way to let us know what I'm doing for you, I don't have to do. And not just like basic stuff, like engaging with you, understanding who you are, helping you develop as a person. And the way she would say it was, I ain't gotta do S word. Like, and just passionate about it. And it wasn't in a dismissive way. It's like, I don't have to do this. So if you're not gonna take it, I don't have to do it. Right. And for me, my I ain't gotta do S was, I'm 40. I don't have to try to be the cutest girl with the biggest boobs and the tiniest waist and just come in stepping from top to bottom. I don't gotta go get tanned or sucked or laced or anything. I don't gotta do none of it. Because I was like, the society has already put me on the shelf. I'm already past my date, past my prime. And so they're not gonna be looking at me like that. Like, I can walk in a space and not even catch a glance because I'm here, just here. I'm just here. So walking in that, so many things was like, I don't care. And I was driving, smiling with the biggest smile on my face because it literally felt like a switch turned. And the programming that was, make sure this, check this, da-da-da-da-da. Make sure you go in there, smile, say hi, be pleasant, da-da-da-da. The list of everything you got to do. It turned off. I was no longer receiving the downloads, like, Wi-Fi. I was no longer receiving the downloads. I was unplugged. And so I didn't have any pressure. So to go shopping, go to the store, and my whole self without, like, are they looking at me? Do they think I'm going to steal? Because, Black girls, I don't know. I just had all this pressure everywhere I went. I'm too tall. Everybody thinks I'm weird. Look how long I am. Oh, my God, let me kind of shorten that. All these things. I wasn't doing none of that. And it just felt so liberating. It was like, is that the secret? Like, you just hit the age and then everything just disconnects. And from that point on, it's been living life just without as much expectation, because I definitely won't say it stopped. Like I was still programmed to certain things. But the self-imposing list, the self-imposing criticism, the down talk to myself, like, you can't, all that, womp womp. It's like, do what I want. I can do what I want. I got money. Come on. Like,
listen,
I got money. My kid is good.
Freedom.
I got jobs. Not job. I have jobs. Okay? I'm doing jobs here. Okay? Multiple incomes. What are we talking about?
And it's funny, like, we say, because I think at the 40, you do hit that thing where, like, I'm amazing.
Yeah. Yes.
You either realize it or you don't. That's on you. We here know we're amazing. So when you get with the program, maybe I'm here to care, right?
Yes.
However, you said something like they put us in a shell and they're no longer looking at us. I would like to say they are looking at us because now our energy, right? So now we don't need the validation of you looking at me and telling me I'm pretty and I'm all of this and a bag of chips because I got that. So now your energy is so free and it's not even like an arrogance thing.
Yeah,
because
it's just confidence.
It's just confidence and it's just really like you validating yourself.
Yes.
Like you already love yourself. You like, listen, like I put a lot of work. I invest a lot. I mean, word invest triple time on this. So
Right.
I know the value of this.
Yes, that part.
So therefore, that energy attracts. So now that energy that attracts the good and the bad.
You and the bad.
But then now it's up to our discernment, which I'm still navigating, of like what you allow.
Yeah.
Because you attract it, you become like a magnet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that I didn't anticipate happening. Not like the way that like I was targeted. And I understand now with certain cycles and certain people that was a target. But I've always felt like my life is a little serendipitous from the standpoint that I'm just doing these magical things and things are laid out for me because I have those experiences.
Right.
Even if it's just like a cup of coffee or somebody left $20 somewhere, best intentions trying to find the owner, but so like,
I love
But
that.
thank you, Lord.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. If somebody don't walk in and say I lost $20, it's fine.
Right.
So just
You got 20 minutes to drink this coffee.
Girl, having all these blessings show up, it made me feel like anything that comes to me is for me. Everything, even if it look a little off, even if it's not quite right, it's gonna turn out right because I got it like
Even
that.
the lesson.
Even the lesson was like, everything still comes to you. That was my lesson. And I was like, I got it.
Yeah.
So I ended up meeting somebody as my neighbor and won't go into details about how ridiculous that was. But ultimately, I sacrificed a lot because I had been telling myself the story of I'm too masculine. I'm too like masculine energy. I'm too direct, like being definitive with what I want to do, how I want to do it, not having any like limitations or saying like I'm not going to compromise because this is what I want and the universe gives me what I want. So I'm going to tell you what I want. That doesn't work with people. So
Not with all.
Not with all people. I mean, some people are the thing that you ask for, but some people are there to break you from that, to say you don't deserve this. You don't get blessings. You aren't amazing. When they're lying, but you don't know that because you think this person loves you and cares about you and wants to try to show you something that you haven't seen before.
And they were sent to you.
Yeah, and they were sent to me. So this is the opportunity to grow into another Kninah. I'm ready. So I was taking it all in. Girl, I was taking notes. I was just like, this is what I got to do in this situation. Looking back at that whole long note that I have, it was dumb. But so I go into this relationship. I sell my house with the house I had with Amari. Beautiful house, beautiful garden. I did everything in there. Sold my house. Got a bigger house, $500,000 house. It was
Together.
Yes, together. It was beautiful. I mean, had a hot tub, pool table, done basement. It was just gorgeous. And I was like, this is it. I made it. We were having little fights, whatever. You still got to work for it. You got to work for it. You shouldn't have to do this much work. It changed to a point where sometimes they'll say that like your partner is jealous of you and you don't think that a man can be jealous of you because we got different things that we bring to the table. But if somebody is jealous of you, even if they don't know it, they will look for opportunities to pop your bubble.
So true.
Like I started collecting Jordans because I just really got to being a fan of them, like Jordan 1s. And so I bought some Jordans. I was like, look at these, babe. These are nice. These are nice. And he was like, you expect me to think they're cute just because you bought them? He's like, I don't like that. It was like Jordan 3s. He's like, I don't like Jordan 3s.
1,000 red flag one.
Yeah, like big time. And he just was like, matter of fact, I don't like Jordan 3s. And he's like, if you want me to be fake, I can do that. And I was just like, okay.
Mm-hmm. But the energy, but when you heard that though, regardless of what you have heard before, like that's when your body's like,
this is not right.
right.
Oh, yes, that's exactly when it started to flip. It was those little things where it would just be intentionally disregarding you in your face. So I worked at home, he worked at home, he worked in the basement, I worked upstairs. He would want to come in my office and talk. And sometimes I'd say, I can't talk right now, I got a call. He'd take offense to that so strong. And so then he would get to the point where he would walk on the other side of the house. He would intentionally try to avoid coming by me or talking to me during working hours. Because he said, I'm going to treat you like you're in the office, not even here. And I'm like,
children,
you don't have to do that. Nope, that's what you said. So for somebody to not try to collaborate with you and saying, I want to see you, you got to work, how can we make this work together? They were just like, no. Your move. Like, so what am I going to say? I'll come downstairs and sit with you more. And I did do that. And I, like,
But just to kind of correct that story, because you, in your mind, thought you had to correct this masculine energy you had.
Yes.
And you want to be a partner. You want to bring clarity and, people pleasing and
all that. All
be
of that.
submissive because what people are saying is working.
Yes.
So you're trying to do all these things to fix something that unfortunately narcissistic behavior is creating.
Yes.
And there's no fix.
And there's no fix. And I jumped on everything. Every note take I got, I fixed it the next day. You weren't going to see it again. And I felt so good about it, where it was like, every time you tell me something's wrong, I fix it. And you just come up with a new thing. I didn't see that he was coming up with new things. These things weren't things. But because I was fixing all of the things, taking all the feedback and implementing it and thinking I'm being the best partner, it's going to get to the point where all the things are fixed. And that never happened. And it just escalated more and more into criticism. Where are you going? Who are you talking to? I was on the phone, like, trying to find out the directions to the place. He popped up in my window. I saw you returning that missed call. I didn't have a missed call. I saw it. I got so paranoid by myself. I went to T-Mobile, recent calls, screenshot it. I didn't call anybody. He was like, I swear you did. He didn't even say, I'm sorry, like, my mistake. He's just like, I swear you did. And, like, disappeared in the background, like, just being sneaky.
Like a psycho.
Yeah.
When did you realize this is too toxic for me and my son?
Girl, so we were having a great evening. We had gotten into some conflict just about something stupid. We really came together and said, we're not going to let this break us. We're going to work together to overcome it. He would say, I'm so mad at you right now, but I really just want to, like, make this work. And I'm like, that's great. So we're laying in the basement, listening to Andre 3000 play that flute. And we were just having a great night, just laying there with each other. Went upstairs to lay down. I was kind of big spooning, and I was, like, rubbing his neck. He turned around, grabbed me by my neck, and held me up and said, what do you think you're doing? And I was like, I was just stroking your neck. He said, you're trying to take me, and you're not going to take me. I am too big for you to be playing like that. And I'm stunned, like, I ain't trying to take nobody. I can't take nobody. Like, I might be tall, but this is just, skin, bones, legs. And so he left the room, and then I'm trying to recover, like, think about what did I do wrong. He comes back up, no, we're going to talk about it. And I'm like, okay, let me go to the bathroom. I go to the bathroom, sit in the room I'm in. Oh, so I got to come to you? You said you want to talk about it. Ultimately, it turned into another pushing thing, lots of pushing, and just, like, kind of, like, disregarding what I was saying, not letting me leave. I ended up, like, running down to my car and then, like, slip, no shoes on, and just left the house. Like, I just left. I didn't know where I was going. Didn't want to go to my sister's house because I didn't want to raise red flags. I didn't want to do anything alarming, but I knew I needed to leave. Literally drove around the block. When I came back, all of my things in my room, in my closet, in my drawers were out of the living space and in the hallways. Just packed up, just in boxes, in tubs. First of all, how did you do all that? Okay? Like, the cabinets were clear. He did all of that and went to the basement and essentially said, you can leave when you're ready. And that was utter devastation because I spent so much time investing in that house, making it a family home, customizing it, doing things that he specifically wanted. I wanted, like, this is our house. It's going to be that. And he kicked me out. We negotiated a time for me to leave. Like I said, I'll stay for the rest of the month and pay the bills, but after that, I'll leave. And he's like, that's fine. Like, you can just pay the bills or half of the bills that we share. I left, and then he called me furious. How are you going to leave with all these bills that we got? I'm not paying for this all by myself. I'm putting your stuff out. You got until Tuesday. This is like Sunday. You got until Tuesday to get all your stuff, or I'm putting it on the curb because I still had stuff. Go over there. He calls my sister and it's like, what's your sister doing over there? I'm calling the police. She shouldn't be at my property. My sister calls me and she's like, just leave. And I'm like, I still got stuff. She was like, it's not worth it. The only thing that I regret not getting was this huge Billie Holiday picture that my mom gave me in my first apartment, and I've taken it everywhere. He threw it away. Like, he just threw all my things away. All of my things that I didn't get, he threw them away. Baby pictures of Mari's things, my stuff. Like, I couldn't take the things to the new condo. I had a house. I had a home. So all of the things that can no longer fit in a home or in a condo in a storage space, I had to give them away. Like, I literally put everything on the driveway, and I put a Facebook message up, and I said, everything's free. Everything's free. Tools, equipment, decoration, just all of these things that had sentimental, but I had to close that part of me down because I think he wanted me to beg for him to let me back, to beg for his acceptance and approval. And I'm not doing that because that's when a light bulb clicked, like, girl, you the one with 3 paychecks coming into here.
You is the whole table.
I'm pulling it in. And so I'm like, why am I begging to stay at a place where I pay everything anyway? I'm going to take my 3 checks. I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to rid myself of these problems. But then looking back at it, it was absolutely narcissistic abuse. Reading about the cycles, reading about the signs, the triggers, all that stuff. It was so crazy. And I felt like, oh my God, I was in an abusive relationship because it wasn't what you normally think, but I absolutely was. And it tore down so many parts of myself. Like, I was a shell of who I was, and I was afraid to make decisions, afraid to make moves. I was afraid to get another house. I didn't want to commit to anything. I didn't even want to get my certification because it's like that might come with some other stuff. I just got to keep my job, make sure my son's okay, and, maintain my alcohol consumption. Because it was just getting too familiar, and I didn't like that.
Because what it did is make you question your ability to make decisions.
Yeah.
Because you said,
my God.
this is what happens. You're like, if I'm so smart, I'm so brilliant, how the Lord did I end up with this?
Yes.
And how did I stop it before it began? And how?
Yes.
Oh, I shoulda. And at the end of the day, it was a lesson.
It was a huge lesson.
And sadly, maybe had to happen to break some things in you that came before him.
Yeah.
Right? So before that person, there's some things that were already broken in you. And sometimes I feel like these people come into your life to expose those parts that you thought you had healed or you had thought you overcome and you hadn't, right? So I hate the lessons. I do. I don't like them. I don't celebrate them. Yeah. But now that they're done with, you can look back and be like, okay, so that happened. And now I'm not attached to these material things because I had to let go of that.
That part. Realizing that wasn't me.
Yes.
Yeah. The things weren't me. And
with your 3 checks, you can get them again if you want to.
Absolutely. And it's like, now I get to reset because, we're doing boho stuff now. Like, we're in a boho vibe. Right. So I absolutely get to redecorate, and that's a great pleasure.
How did you get to, because you just mentioned, I didn't want to do my PMP stuff because you question your ability to make good decisions. Yeah. You question if you're even worth it because your worth gets all shadowed, your confidence, because they break it, right? Yeah. Sadly, there's people, places that can break your confidence. What happened that you were like, F this, I'm going to do it? Yeah. Because it was like, I heard for 1 second that we were talking, and then you're like, you weren't doing all these things, and then you're like, I'm doing this.
Yes. Yeah, it was like that because I really spent 1.5 years depressed. And I know that because I'm using this little app where it comes up a picture. It's like, take a picture of your settings. And for that period, because you can see when they were taken, there was a lot of dark shots because I was just laying in the dark. There were a lot of shots of my fan because I was just laying in the bed. Like, there was a period of just fan dark. Like, I wasn't at my desk. I wasn't outside. And it comes up at sporadic times. So any given day, I was in my bed, not enjoying anything. Going to therapy, getting on medication, changed my life because, again, I didn't think I was depressed. I thought I was dumb and kind of living in the dumbness. And also because I felt so charmed and so blessed and just so like, everything's coming to me. I was like, was that all just dumb luck? Is my streak up? Am I not smart? Am I not witty? Like everything I questioned. And so I'm like, I think I've been getting away with it with my charm and my ADHD, just giving me ideas. And I don't know nothing. And it took a long time to get that back. And again, another Black woman. I joined a group for Black women in project management. I shared my struggles. I shared the stuff that I was having a problem with. One girl said, call me. She said, just call me. And she's got this thick Tennessee accent. And she was like, hey, girl, I just want to make sure you have everything you need. Because just on talking to you, you have all the skills, girl. You got a toolbox of skills. And I just want to learn from you. So I just want to find out what you're doing. And so she just got that from me, like asking me things. And then I'm like, oh, I do know this stuff. And she's like, why haven't you taken your PMP yet? I was like, it's so many questions. It's like 270 questions. It's a 4-hour test. Like, it's intense. I'm like, I can't afford it because the test is $675. I'm like, I can't afford to take that test. I don't even know. I can't study. My brain doesn't retain information. I'm not gonna make it. She said, schedule it. She said, schedule it. And she's like, once you schedule it, you have to get to a point where you are digesting things intentionally and not just picking up the book, reading things to like ingest it, but you're intentionally understanding not the knowledge, but the mindset of a PM. And once you get the mindset with my natural skills and abilities and thinking we are in a collaborative environment, what would a PM do in a collaborative environment? We are a risk just plagued organization. How would a PMP or a project manager respond in this? And it's like, oh, I'd use this, I do this. And that's all the questions were. What would you do in this scenario? I'm not thinking about Kninah. I'm not thinking about by the book. I'm thinking about using the agile principles, using the philosophies of PMP. I would do this. And those are the answers. But let me tell you, I cried on that call when questions were hard to read and understand, like literally reading the words and not comprehending what the words are. I cried so hard. And I was just like, please help, please help, please help. And I just really just cried for help. And when I completed the test, they don't tell you immediately. They're like, we'll send you results in 3 days. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't take it. I was like, okay, if I failed it, I'm not taking it again. If I failed it, I will take it again.
Amen.
Like it switched so fast, I will take it again because you know what to expect.
Nice.
2 days later, I get the email. Actually, I didn't get the email. I kept refreshing my page. And it was saying like, time to join your PMI chapter. And I was like, oh my God, everything in me just spilled out. I just cried and I laughed and I was like, I knew it. And I text everybody that I know, like, boom, 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 Facebook. Y'all don't even know what a PMP is. Facebook, boom. Like, my dad didn't even know what it was. He was like, so what does that mean? I'm certified to manage projects.
And make more money.
And make more money. He's like, okay. And I was like a doctor has a license. I have a certification that says I am licensed to manage projects. He's like, oh, that's a big deal. I'm like, yes, it is, sir.
You have to break it down.
Yeah, I have to break it down. But again, I was resourceful. I didn't pay the $675 up front. I used Klarna. Like, paid a quarter of it. And like just really seeing everything that I said was an issue was not an issue when I really got intentional about it.
Right.
And then once I showed up, not with like just late night studying like raccoon eyes, refreshed, ready, just prepared to show up. Whatever the question is, whatever the scenario is, I need to show up with that. Not trying to say, what did that chapter say? What was that? Like instinct.
Because you knew it.
Yeah, I knew it.
You just needed a certificate. Like you had done the work.
Yeah.
And that changed my view on myself. I'm like, I have a career. I have a specialty in something, something that I know like the back of my hand that I could spout off, that I could tell to other people. And I love coaching in those spaces because I coach for Lean Six Sigma and for project managers, like coaching them and doing all of that. And I get so passionate about it because not only is it so purposeful, like any organization that you're in, especially the ones that provide services to people and help people get the medications they need and help people get access to healthcare benefits and navigate the systems, I want to make that so seamless that it feels like they don't have to do anything. So instead of saying, go to this page and do this, bring the link to this page. Sign this here on this page. Bring the sign in here. Like everything needs to be one-stop shop because these people don't know how to navigate it. And that's just average people don't know how to navigate it. And they won't know the benefits they have. They won't know the next steps. They're just confused. And that may lead to people not taking the steps they need to take care of themselves in a proactive way, in a preventative way, or even in response to something. So how can I make it so easy that all you got to do is show up? Your files are there, the forms are signed, the doctor knows what you're here for, and they're ready to help you. That's what I love.
I feel like your experience in life has made you who you are to like bless others, right? So those struggles that you went through, those feelings of I can't even do this, now you have all of that. And a certificate to prove it.
That's right.
Because you always had it. I'll make sure I say that a couple times. And now you can make life so much easier for other people. So I love that. I'm proud of you for that.
Thank you so much. I find so much joy in it.
Love that.
I'm like, we can use you at. I have a couple places where we can use your wonderful skills.
I love it. Yeah.
Well, I know we're getting ready to wrap up, but I think it would be really great, just in reflection of everything, parts of even what you shared today, and just kind of thinking through your professional journey and even your personal journey of growth. And I quickly just want to highlight, it's almost like you mentioned, like being put on like the shelf thing, going back to that really quickly. And I think that sometimes some of the women we've met feel like, okay, this is my life. Yeah. This is the rest of my life.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's just like, there's season, like you always have an opportunity for a new season. But you, as you mentioned earlier, like you have to show up for that. You have to be willing to put in that work, create that intention. And I think that there's power in hearing everything you've accomplished and everything you've gone through and the lessons you've taken from that. And I really would love to just kind of get, for anybody listening to this who may be either at the beginning of this season or maybe they're in the middle of it and they don't really know, what would you say, in reflection is your biggest takeaway from either your personal journey or your professional journey? What advice would you give to others? Yeah,
every failure is just a step closer to where you need to be. And even if that failure is like in a lateral place, like you fall down at the same spot, or if you go up and fall down, all of the things that you're experiencing, even if you don't think you're retaining them, it's held in your body. And so when you have impulses or intuition, now that you know what your body is telling you, you have inner guidance that you don't need to consult with people for. You don't need to look on TikTok. You don't need to journal. You don't need to do all these things. And those tools are amazing, so definitely leverage them. But when it comes down to it, any situation you're in that's not right for you, your body's going to tell you.
Right.
And it's so subtle that if you're too anxious or have monkey mind, you're going to miss it. Because I noticed like monkey mind anxiety is the one that is trying to stop me from doing things. Don't do that. It's too hot. It's too cold. Oh my God, what are you going to do? What are you going to wear? Blah, 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 blah. My conscious gut self is always just like, you're fine. Or do it. Or no. It doesn't give me explanations. It doesn't justify it. Right. It doesn't say, here's the evidence and proof. It just says no. And at this point, I know what no means. Right. I have learned what no means.
And what happens if you don't listen to it?
And I know what happens. Not just like, if it says no, tell me why. If you can't tell me why, I'm going to do it. No. You said no, which is me. My higher self said no. Because
you need to write that down.
Because my higher self already saw my destiny. My higher self already knows what is capable of me. I do. Yes. Just deep in there. And so when it tells me no, it's because doing it yes is going to take me further from who I am. And now that I love who I am, I just want to see more. I'm so excited.
Yes.
Yeah, so find out who you are. Embrace all those pieces. Put them all together. It can be a great mosaic. Like all of the pieces that may be sharp and jagged, they can go into a great cement thing and just be this beautiful bulb or globe or vase or whatever. But all the pieces are beautiful, even the dark ones.
Love that. Well, thank you for being here.
Yay.
Thank you for sharing your story, your expertise. And how can folks get a hold of you? Like, are you on any platforms?
Yes.
You mentioned coaching, all the things.
Yeah.
Like, let the people know.
So the place that I do my most rants and just kind of be really authentic, because I use the different platforms for different things. Facebook is for my family. Instagram is for my family and social group, mostly of Amari. That's his page, let's be honest. Mm-hmm. TikTok is where I give my takes on things, share the music that I like, the quotes that I like, the things that empower me or inspire me. Some of them are a little raunchy, not raunchy like sexually, but just really just upfront and blunt.
Yeah.
Because that's how I am. So that page is, let me go to my little page because I don't even know it. But it's the place that you really get the authentic me and not this polished version. Because I'll sit on there and just rant about stuff that I'm trying to figure out. It is it's at Miss MS Kninah with a K. So KNINAH. And it is open to the public. And I love to just see people respond to my ADHD videos in particular. And I'm like, oh my God, I thought I was the only one. Oh my God, this is so cool. So I'm going to do more of that too.
Thank you. Please follow her. We'll also tag you on our stuff. And you get to see her on our YouTube channel also when you see this episode. But we just want to thank you, Kninah. Thank you so much for coming, for opening your heart, for saying yes. And I hope that people get to reach out to you and learn more and be part of your journey.
Yay. Thank you both. This is so fun.
And as we always close, we're going to count us off for the close. 1, 2, 3.
It's bigger than you.
Hey.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening today. We're excited and we hope that you follow us on
Instagram, True Print for Life, YouTube channel, also True Print for Life. And make sure that you share, watch our videos. Make sure that you follow us on all streaming platforms.